welcome back to EduHubSpot Knowledge Series. Today, we are going to learn about vector databases. In this video, I am going to explain vector databases in the simplest way possible. So, even if you don't come from a technical or an AI background, you will be able to understand this concept from its core. So, before we move to our topic, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss out on tech content. Now, let's get started, shall we? So, when I say vector databases, don't think of it as an old, boring database concept because it is much more than that. Now, first of all, let's understand what is the difference between traditional database and vector database. So, when it comes to traditional database, they store structured data, retrieve results using exact matches, keywords, filters, and predefined queries. Whereas vector databases store data as vectors, retrieve the results by comparing vector similarity to find meaning and context based matches. So, this is our technical definition. But what does it actually mean? Let's understand this with the help of a simple example, guys. Imagine you search car in traditional database. Now, you have to understand this that when you search car in a traditional database, it will only show results that contain the exact word car in them. Okay, so you can get results like maybe car repair or car, maintenance. Okay, so it has to contain the exact word car in them to be included in the results. But something like vehicle insurance or uh, maybe SUV buying guide. So, although these are related to cars, it may not appear because the exact word car is not present in them. It is missing. Whereas when it comes to vector databases, guys, in vector database, they understand the meaning behind the word. So, searching for car in a vector database can also show results like vehicle maintenance, vehicle insurance, car maintenance, SUV buying guide, everything because it understands that cars, vehicles, SUVs, and automobiles are connected concepts. But wait, what are these vectors that we keep talking about? Are these the same ones from class 11th or something different? Let's look at this and understand. So, what are vectors? We all have been taught in our computer classes that computers can't understand words, it can only understand numbers. So, basically, we can think that vectors are a way to convert things like text or images into numbers so that machines can understand and compare them. Now, let's understand this with the help of an example. Basically, any kind of data, whether it is text, image, music, or anything else, can be converted into numbers. And this conversion can be done with the help of something called an embedding model. So, what we do is we take our data like images, text, and audio and pass it through an embedding model. This embedding model then helps us convert and produce a list of numbers which are called vectors. Now, one more important thing to understand here is that the output we get from the embedding model is this list of numbers which is called vector. But when this vector is created in such a way that it captures the meaning and context of the data, we call it an embedding. So, in simple terms, embedding is just a meaningful vector. Let's understand this with a very simple example. Suppose I give you a few numbers randomly, like 85, maybe 90, or 78. So these are the numbers. Now, this this is just the number, and you can think of this as vector. So this is vector for me. But when I give a context behind it saying these are basically students' marks, these are students' marks for subjects like math, English, and science. Then this becomes an embedding because now these same numbers have meaning behind them. So now I guess we have a clear understanding about what is embedding and what is embedding model. So basically, a model that converts the data, that is text, images, etc., into vectors and capture the meaning and context is called an embedding model. And a vector representation of data stored in a vector database for similarity based search is called vector embedding. Now, this is exactly what gets stored inside a vector database, guys. These embeddings, which represent the meaning of data in a numerical form. Okay. So, now that we have a clear understanding of the concepts which are required to understand the database workflow, let's look into it. So, here we are at a database workflow, guys. What is happening over here is that first we start with our data, which can be documents, notes, or any kind of content. This data is then split into parts, basically in smaller parts, which are called chunks, and the process chunking, so that it becomes easier for us to process them. Now, what happens is that we pass each of these chunks through an embedding model. This embedding model converts them into vectors, basically numbers that represent their meaning. These vectors are then stored inside a vector database. Now, when a user asks a question, the query is also converted into a vector. After that, the vector database compares the query vector with all the stored vectors and it finds the most similar ones, meaning the data that is closest in meaning to the user's question. These relevant results are then sent to this LLM. And finally, our LLM helps the user to get an answer. It will produce an answer from all the useful information fed to it. So, in simple terms, we can say that we convert everything into numbers, find the most similar ones, and then use that data to generate the final answer. Now we are here to discuss about one of the most important and widely used use cases for vector databases, that is RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. So, guys, I won't go deep into the full RAG workflow in this video. We'll cover that in detail in another video. But for now, let's just understand how vector databases play a key role in it. Now, let's quickly understand how all of this connects LLMs, RAG, and vector databases. So, an LLM is like ChatGPT. It is great at generating answers, but it doesn't always have access to the latest or specific data. And that is where RAG comes in. RAG is basically a way to help the LLM get the right information before answering. And to find the most relevant information, RAG uses vector database. The vector database stores data as embeddings. It stores data as embeddings, which is basically the numerical form, a meaning in numerical form. And whenever a user asks a question, it finds the most relevant data based on similarity. Now, that data is then passed to the LLM. The LLM uses it to generate a more accurate and context aware answer. So, in simple terms, we can say that a vector database finds the right information, RAG connects it to the LLM, and the LLM generates the final answer. Apart from RAG, vector databases are used in many real world applications. For example, semantic search. They find results based on meaning, not just keywords. In image and video search, they find visually similar content. In recommendation systems, they suggest similar products, movies, and content. In duplicate detection, they also help in that by identifying similar or repeated data. In chatbox and rack systems, it helps in retrieval of information for better answers. When it comes to personalized content, they deliver recommendation based on user behaviors. Then comes in document search and Q&A. They help search across PDFs, notes, and knowledge bases. And in anomaly detection, they help detect unusual patterns like fraud or system issues. Now, let's quickly look at some real world examples. So, vector databases help leading companies deliver smarter search, better recommendations, and personalized experience by understanding data based on meaning, not just keywords. Platforms like Spotify use vector databases to recommend songs based on your taste and listening patterns. Then there's Amazon, who use them to suggest similar products and personalize your shopping experience. When it comes to Netflix, they use it to recommend movies and shows based on what you watch. And Google uses them to improve search results by understanding the meaning behind your queries. And once you understand the whole concept, you'll notice how almost everything you use today is powered by vector databases behind the scenes. Now, before we wrap up this video, I want to tell you about something exciting. If you want to scale up in your career and stay ahead with AI, we have something for you. EduHubSpot's generative AI program. This comes with live sessions and real world use cases and practical learning. Trust me, no theory overload. Check it out, link is in the description. So, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you now have a clear understanding of vector databases. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in our next video. Until then, keep learning and stay curious. Thank you.